Now, I'll finally get around to videoing how to install a new keypad completely with a 6150. So we're going to install the 6160 right here that I thought was open box. No, I mean that I thought was sealed, but it turns out it wasn't. So, here we go. We'll call the seller about that later. Oh my gosh, it's not even covered. Well, we're going to be installing this on the wall over here. I don't even know if it works for now. So we'll be installing that right over here. And we're going to be completing this with a 6150 keypad. So what you're going to start out with first is removing these clips of the bottom. So grab something that you can use to remove it, like a flathead, and push it in. You won't get to see this, but push in at this point right here and right here. Then you'll lightly pull up. So I'm going to put it up. So now that the cover is off, you can work on mounting. Now that you got the cover off, you can figure out a way to mount it on the wall. Now personally, I'd use the ones that drill into the wall and then you push them in, then you got to screw it in place. I personally use those because they're much easier. So personally, I'd use that when installing these. After you get the bracket installed, your next step is running the wires. Now you got to remember, you got to have 4 colored wiring. So for example, it wants you to do yellow, green, red, blue. But in most cases, you will have a different color. Like ADT sometimes uses red, black, blue, and yellow. Yellow would be, in this case, orange, or DO, or Y minus, or just Y out. And then green is data in, or DI, or GN. And this would be blue. And then there's positive and negative, and red is positive, blue is negative in this case, or an ADT, it'll be black. So let's get over the circumstances with wiring. So let's get inside the box here. Maybe this will help you a little bit. You'll need to unscrew the screw or find the key if your system has a key, and then you'll need to start the wiring process. So whenever you're wiring, there's a diagram down here that'll tell you everything you need to know, like where your keypad gets power. Number 5 is the power input, so you're going to look for number 5 up here, and then you're going to put a wire in it and just do it like that. You can use, it just needs to be 4, just needs to have 4 wires, and then you can set up the color coding how you want to. This box gives you the diagram. Red is power, positive power. Green is data coming from a keypad, which is number 6. 7 is data out, which would be yellow. And then there is, let me look, number 4, which is black. Now, number 4 is a ground used for most of them anyways, so it'll have a few wires in there that isn't just from a keypad. So after you get all that, and here's a quick note, whenever you're wiring, make sure to unplug your box. And that is including whenever you are doing like keypad wiring or just wiring in general. You need to make sure your keypad is your system is unplugged. The way you can make sure you do that is make sure to call your company. If your company is, if you have a responder company that you pay for, make sure to call them up and say that, hey, I'm about to unplug my system for a little while. So if you notice that the system is down, don't worry. So you're going to have to unplug your battery, and then you'll be able to unplug the system, and then you can add the keypad. Because if you leave the battery in there and you unplug the system, it could cause it to go into alarm mode, which you don't want it to go into alarm mode. So let me show you the wiring over here. So it'll be Y, positive, negative, then G. Now if you remember what I said before, you should know how to wire this by now. Unfortunately, I can't show you how to wire it because I don't have a stand. So I'm going to wire this. I also forgot to mention how you unplug the system. So you're going to look for a beige box that's screwed into the wall. It might not be screwed in, but if it is, you're going to unscrew this. And this should be the power box for this. So once you unplug that, the whole system should go dead. Now remember to unplug your battery. Now if you really, really wanted to, you can just do it from the system, which personally I don't recommend that because every time you connect it, there will be sparks. So you just got to remove either terminal 1 or terminal 2 and take out the wire that's in that, and it should power off the system. Now personally I don't recommend doing that, so I would just recommend finding that beige box and pulling it off of the wall. Right, so here's the end wiring. So green, or G, should be either wire color green or it should be blue. The positive should be red. The negative should either be blue or it should be black. And then the Y should either be yellow or orange. So once it's on the wall and you think that it's all set up, you can power back on the system. As you can hear, the keypad made a noise, although the other one didn't because it's older and it does not make a noise. This is an older and it's just in a case. Now as you see, nothing happened. That's because it has not been addressed yet. It's a brand new keypad, you need to set it up as an address. And I'll show you how to do that. So you're going to want to either put in your installer code, which should be 4112800 on Vista 20 panels. Now on SafeWatch panels it should be 6321800. Now if that doesn't work for you on SafeWatch panels, you're going to press star and pound as soon as it powers up. Now you're in the installer. Now what you're going to do is you're going to have to set up a new address for the other keypad. So this is so the keypad will work. So most cases address 17 will probably be used on ADTs. So normally I recommend, if you don't have any other keypads, to go to 18. But because I have used most of them on my system, I'm going to 19. So you're going to put in star, and then for this one, there is a list for what zones you have for your keypad. This is the numbers for the address of the keypad, and also whatever if you want it to sound. So for this keypad, I'm going to go to address 20, which is 193, so star 193. Now I'm there. So now you're going to want to do for certain sounds. So for one partition, you are going to want to do, in most residential cases, you're going to do 1. You're going to press the number 1, and then if you want sound, you're going to press number 1 and then 0. So do 1 and 0. You heard a beep. Now you can exit out by pressing star 99. So now you got that done, but the other keypad still isn't working. You're going to want to do by pressing 1 and 3 at the next startup. So what you're doing for that is you're going to have to reset the system again. So for me, I'm just going to pull the wire out and back in. And then we can go and show you what to do. Now that you've reset the system again, you're going to go to the keypad and quickly press 1 and 3. You're going to see it show you an address. See, here's an address. Then you're going to put in your newly registered address. So for me, 20. And then it'll exit out. And then should boot up. Ta-da! Now you got a new keypad.